Players often ask me, Slim, what are like the essential Yu-Gi-Oh cards every player needs? You know what? I never actually answered that question, so I think we need to do that. What's going on, you guys? Slim here to make a video that I've actually wanted to make for quite some time. It actually required me to just gather a better, kind of staple collection of cards in order to do the video, so I'm very happy that I was able to do that. A shout out to my boy Pete for that, always providing me with cards that I need, just very important stuff. And today's video, we're going to discuss something that I think is super important for any Yu-Gi-Oh player, whether you've been playing the game for as long as I have, or you're just starting out, or you've come back from a hiatus, etc, etc. We're going to talk about what I feel are the essential Yu-Gi-Oh cards every player needs, and this also pertains to you whether you're competitive or casual. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. You guys will also be notified when I stream over on Twitch. Links are in the description. I promise the Twitch streams are coming back. I actually got a Nintendo Switch, and I'm actually trying to work it out to maybe stream the Legacy of the Duelist game like from scratch. Like, you guys can actually just watch me play it. I barely play video games, but I made an exception for this system, so we'll see. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments below. For this video specifically, you're probably going to see a lot of cards you want to purchase. You guys know what to do. If you're going to purchase any cards, please use my TCG player link in the description below. A portion of what you spend goes back to the channel and helps me out, and I do appreciate it. So I got a couple things here that I'm going to show you guys. Those of you that have watched the channel for a while, you know what this is. It's my staples box. It's my side deck box. It's the goo box, as I call it. It has everything in here. And I kind of organized it, not really, but I'm going to basically talk about cards in here that I feel every player should have, and I'm going to explain why. I'll breeze through them. Now, I'm going to let you know that some of these cards are budget friendly. A lot of them are not. You guys should know this from my personal deck profiles. You guys know that I really don't have a huge budget constraint when it comes to certain cards. I just don't really bling a lot of things out, but I feel that every player, whether you're casual or competitive, should have access to these cards. And one thing that I'll tell you right now, so before we even start the video with the real cards, I want to do it with real cards instead of pop-up pictures and whatnot, because it's just more personal. If you aren't able to get any of these cards, just play online, because it's free. Just saying, if you're one of those people that just plays online, you have access to every card, so hopefully it still helps you out. But we'll get into each section of this box of mine. It's basically like a staple box, as I call it, a side deck box. There's a couple players I know that have them as well. They're extremely helpful, and they help you just really kind of organize your stuff and get just a better understanding of what you should have. So I'm gonna start with cards like Prankatops. This is just one of the best generic Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the game. It's main deck worthy. You put it in your side deck. Every side deck or main deck should have this somewhere. This is one of the best cards you can play in Yu-Gi-Oh. People talked about this card getting banned. It'll blow my mind. It's bad enough it's already at 1, but every player should have access to this. It also comes common. I literally got handed a secret. I didn't even get a secret. I was fine playing commons, so I know you guys can get this. I'm just gonna say this is probably one of the best generic single cards you can get in the game. You should just have access to it. And on that note, the main thing we're going to start with is hand traps. So hand traps are essential. They are what help you play against your opponent, combat your opponent, stop your opponent, and then allow you to push back against your opponent. The best hand trap right now is obviously Gamma Driver. You guys watched the remote duel again. Shout out to my brother Sam for winning. Gamma was insane. He gammaed almost every game, and it's essential. This card came rare as well, so you guys can easily pick that up out of, I believe it was Toon Chaos it came out of. This is just easily one of the best hand traps. Along with that, also Infinite Impermanence. I know this card has a reprint, but it's still expensive. Hopefully there's another reprint on the horizon. I feel every player should have access to this. In my opinion, the Gamma Driver package, or even the Stupid Driver, and Impermanence are the best hand traps in the game, so I feel all players should have access to them. They're extremely important. Those are just staple hand traps. And then more just other hand traps, staple-ish kind of cards like Ash Blossom. They come in the Solomon Great Structure deck if you happen to get them that way, so you can get the reprints. I, of course, have originals just because I've had them for a very long time. This is a card I invested in early on because I knew the card would be good. Anything generic is always going to be good in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's one of those cards you can always catch something. Next, I have a card that goes in and out of formats. It's Ogres. I don't have secret ones, unfortunately. We'll get those eventually. I really like secret hand traps, but I'll settle for the supers. This card's really good against Numeron. Now, I know people keep saying Numeron flopped. The more you say that, the more likely people will pick it up and catch you by surprise with it, so keep that kind of on the hush-hush. But Ogre's just another very good generic staple hand trap that I think people should have access to. Same thing with Effect Veiler. It just negates effects, you know this. Cards I actually don't own. I don't own Bell. I don't have extra Skullmeisters. I don't have Moonlit Chill. I don't actually have all the Ghost Stitchers, to tell you the truth. These are just the hand traps I've always used. If you guys have seen my deck profiles, I've never really needed those other cards. I know they're good. You can definitely, if you have access to them, like Bell, Moonlight Chill, the Dogwood one that gains life points. If you have access to those, definitely include those in your side deck staples. I just don't happen to have those, but they're cards you should also have. I think just having access to all hand traps is super important. More important cards, I feel Nibiru is just an absolute staple in any format. You should have it whether it's good or not. This is just a card that the Mega Tins really it changed the game when this card came out. This card is really good against the Adamancipator deck. It's really good against decks that overextend. You can just punish your opponent with this. I think every player should have access to that. Along with Phantasme, this is just a card that I know it's not good right now. It has a million reprints. I think it's getting a super reprint. There's no excuse to have this card. This card used to be over $100. Now it's like pennies. I'm just glad I still have secrets. Y'all already know it ain't a video without the homie DD Crow. Gotta have that in there. That's just good graveyard disruption. Cards like Droll and Lockbird phase in and out of formats, but it's still very, very good card. Can stop your opponent's turn completely against a deck that searches a lot. Cards like Dimension Shifter are deck dependent. Decks like OG Thunder and Gren Maju, I believe mostly the Gren Maju Castle build, which is a deck I'm working on as well, is a deck that can also play this card. So they're just good to have. I think that you should just pick them up. No material. It got a reprint. I don't know how to feel about this card. I have these. Shout out to my boy Matt. I got these from him a while ago. But yeah, these cards, I don't know. I just like to have them just in case. I think you should just be prepared. Same thing with Winter Cherries. I don't remember the last time I even cited Winter Cherries. I think it was when Firewall was around. But I mean, this is still good to have just in case. If you guys don't notice, a lot of this stuff is just staple stuff that I feel every player should have. Lancia, always good. Every format is really good. It's really good against Invoke. So think about that. Then I've got board breaking cards. I've got sphere modes. I just played sphere mode. You can play Lava Golem. You can play, so I got some other cards in here, I'm pretty sure. You can also play Gamma Seal as a kaiju. Anything to just kind of break your opponent's board going second is great. This is good against the Super Wombo Combo Build-A-Board, and this is good for single outing. I like it also in decks that utilize level 8s like Gren Maju, so card's just good. It's the lowest kaiju. You can play any kaiju you want, but I mean, honestly, if you're just going to beat over the thing, give him Gamma Seal, just don't put it in defense. Other things, if you're going to play engines and stuff, I have the Numeron walls. Those are basically just for the Numeron engine, which you guys will see the rest of it in the spell part of this. We've got just some generic stuff. I got Scythe, I got the Destruction Sword, I got this thing. So this is for the artifact package. That should just be staple. Every player should have access to this. This is just if we play the Buster Lock with Union Carrier. I don't even play this card. I'll be honest. Have you guys ever seen a deck from Slim that literally plays Needle Fiber or any of that? I have those cards. Just don't play decks like that. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. Dangers. Obviously, there's more than this, but these are the best ones. Everyone should have access to these. All the other dangers are great. I highly suggest you just pick up every danger in a triplicate, except these, unless they come back to more than one. Dangers are just cards that, I mean, they're upstart goblins. They're upstart goblins in bodies. They're some of my favorite cards in the whole game. I even played a whole danger deck for people that know that horrendous deck I played. But yeah, dangers are just great. They're a great engine. Other things, this card's just good to have. You just never know. People think it's just a stun card. Well, sometimes it becomes a side deck card for other decks. I know in Pure Invoked I was citing this because I had no other normal summon besides Alistair, so this became another just awesome card when they made me go first. And then just rounding out generic stuff, I got Cyber Dragons, just for whatever, you never know, you might, if machines become big again, this into the fusions is great. For back row decks, Denko, and then Armageddon because it's a generic card. You can also put Grepher in there as well, but that's basically what's in that section of the box for now. Moving on to my spells, just other generic stuff I think every player should have. This is where it gets expensive, I'm sorry, but cards like Triple Tactic Talents, cards like Forbidden Droplets, these are just insane cards. I think that if you can afford them, if you buy them using my TCG player link, they're just some of the best cards you can have in the game. 3 broken effects, cards just blankets the board and turns everything off. It's great. Can also help set up your graveyard for extra plays. Call by the Grave should be a staple, just anywhere, somewhere in your deck. If you're playing a combo deck, just stops all hand traps, things that get in your way, disrupts the opponent. These are only in here because literally when I have my Extrav decks, if you have Extrav deck, obviously you need Extrav, they should be out of here. The thing I'm not going to show you guys, any of my actual decks. These are basically just essential cards for everything else, but the cores and stuff are still here. So there's the Numeron, the rest of the Numeron core, it goes with the wall. We've got more generic stuff like back row removal. I think back row removal is super important. I don't think it's I think every player should have some form of back row removal, and in my opinion, if you're going to get cards, the best ones are Storm, Twister, Cosmic Cyclone. They're all just really good. I think that they're cards that every player should have access to. They're very important for just getting rid of, but the back row decks are still a thing. Desire is just more generic draw power, especially if you don't have talents in a deck, you can play Desires. Dark Ruler becomes your budget replacement for Forbidden Droplets. I still like to have both. This card should be banned, but it's in there because it's a degenerate piece of shit. Like, literally. But hey, I mean, Mystic Mind, you gotta respect it. I respect it by having it. This card sucks right now, but it may be good one day, so it's not a bad thing to have. Outs to Zexal, just good to have. Like, again, more generic cards that I feel more players should have. One-ofs that have become one-ofs, Mind Control, Instant Fusion, Upstart if you want to make your deck 39 cards, Set Rotation if you're playing more field spell decks, Reborn is generic, Card Destruction if you're playing a deck that can benefit off Card Destruction like a Danger deck, 1-for-1 is a generic summoning mechanic, summoning spell, and then Foolish because, I mean, it's just if your deck utilizes Foolish. So that's pretty much all the spells. I'll run through the traps, and then what I have for you guys to wrap up the video is basically engines that I think all players should have access to, in addition to like extra deck cards. And I'll run through the traps as fast as I can. I really don't want this video being super long, but we'll see. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the live actual cards. You guys can actually get a glimpse into like my collection. But I believe the Solemns will always be good. Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, they're just good. I feel like they're just cards you should have. Now, a lot of these cards, I'm gonna tell you guys, these cards aren't that expensive anymore. Like, I know cards like this, evenly, they go up in and out of price. It just really depends when you pick them up. Sanctum, obviously it goes with the Scythe, it goes with the Lancias. I think this card is highly underrated. It's still very good. It's a Macrocosmos on your opponent's turn. It's ridiculous. It doesn't cost you anything except to flip it. That's just so good. I remember citing this card, it was broken. I cited it in Mech Knight Invokes when they make me go first. This is really good for getting traps. This is just a really good trap in general. I really like Compulse. It's a good disruption card. I just like having it. It's just there. Like, a lot of these cards you'll see are here for when I need them. Cards like Crackdown. Cards like There Can Only Be One if I'm playing Guru Control, because I am one of those awful Guru people. I still have D-Barrier, because I felt D-Barrier was going to be good. I mean, it's good against Pendulum. Shout out to Steven. It's good against Pendulum. It's good against Fusion-based decks. It was good against Shaddolls. It just, I don't know. It was weird. Shaddolls were in a weird place, so it didn't really pop up. Eradicators, because there's always, like, some format where this card's busted. Don't ask me why. There's just some format where it's just really good, where spells are important. If you're one of those people that play Waking the Dragon with good targets, catch your opponent off guard, win the game. Torrential, great board clearing card when the opponent overextends. Sometimes better than Nibiru, it literally just wipes the whole board. They get nothing. Sometimes you get pluses off what goes to the graveyard. More Floodgate-ish stuff. This card really fell out of contention, but it's not that bad. Spell Fragments for like Pendulums and stuff like that. I think this is just a good generic trap card that comes up in certain formats. Decks that you wouldn't expect to play them do play it, so it's pretty good. And then Order, just a good card. Reboot, just a good card. And another Dogmatica Punishment, because it goes with like my Dogmatica stuff, so that is pretty much all of that. And then just extra deck stuff, super duper quick, because my god, like I said, I didn't want this to be a long video, but look at all this extra deck stuff we have to go through. This is just this is all generic stuff. If you're playing the Invoked engine, you have your Invoked cards, you have your 1-card Makabas, you have your Shaddol engine, you have just graveyard food for the Dogmaticas, more graveyard food, more graveyard food, more graveyard food. I think the Nightmares, I'll take a minute, are super important. Every player who's coming back to the game or that knows about this, just have these. Griffin may not seem like much, but it's actually pretty good in certain decks. You can set cards like Imperial Order, set it with Curious, set it with Griffin. It's pretty broken. The card's awesome, so I like to include those. These degenerate pieces of crap that don't ever really appear in my decks, which is weird. Good Link 1s. These are both really good Link 1s, like in Altergeist and stuff like that. Linking off Molaseek, going second and animating a monster is ridiculous. And then just some generic Link 2 stuff. This got a reprint. Everyone will have access to it. This is good for the Buster Lock. This is going to be broken when Dragoon comes out. That, obviously, that if you're playing the Alistair deck, one of my favorite cards ever. Some good generic 4s, Saryuja Borreload, Boral Sword, obviously Appaloosa, Access Code Talker, just really good cards you can have. Mech Knight, Avermax, which awesome Appaloosa and Avermax are getting reprints. Curious, really depends on the deck, but if you can use it, card's great. And just some more generic stuff like Topologic cards, Zeraboros, Bomber, Trisbania. They're just generic cards that can come up in certain situations. Decode Talker, I don't even know if that card's still good, but I still have it in my deck, in my box for some reason. This outs cards like BLS. This is just good if you're using Psy-Frames. A good generic Link 2 works really good with Gamma. This is really good, obviously, against Salamangreat and stuff like that. This works with the artifacts really well. This is just a really good, just blow up everything kind of card. And then what I have next, I'll move these to to the side. What I have next is just all the freaking Numeron crap, like literally all the Numeron Let's Play Zexal kind of deck. So I'll just flash through those. These are literally just like the Infinitrax, the Zexals, all the Numeron stuff that goes with the Numeron cards. The cards are literally like pennies because no one believes in those cards. I do, but not too many people do. Then if you're playing like a generic rank 8 deck like Gridmaju, you have cards like Zombie Stein, Lancelot, 38, 68, 97, which goes into this, which OTKs. Paul did that on stream. That was absolutely broken. That's just some cool stuff to have if you're playing a deck like Gridmaju, which is, I think it's pretty budget now, isn't it? Because Gizmek got the reprint. And then the last thing I have is like Starving Venom. Starving Venom is, yeah, a Starving Venom with a bunch of just random Super Poly targets. There's way more than this. These were just happen to be in my box, but these are just all just generic Super Poly things if they come up. Good against Dark decks, good against like Salamangreat, stuff like that. Probably the best and only instant fusion target I use. This and Millennium Eyes is good. I believe this card is insane. I just need to put it into the deck, so that's why it's there. And then I've got like more broken stuff. Like if I were to make a video on this, ban this card because this card's broken. So many decks can use it now. Generic level 4 XYZs, they're just good to have in case your deck can use them. I know Emancipator can play Dweller, so that's important. If it ever comes up to stop spell decks, stuff you would do with Cyber Dragons and the Last Warrior as like probably the best Waking the Dragon target. So that's everything that's in the box. And the last thing I'm going to show you guys is like deck engines / deck cores you should have if you're playing certain decks. So what I do have is I do have Alistair, obviously the Invoked package, so this is just another package you guys can pick up. It's all the stuff you need. It's the Alistairs, the Invocations, the Meltdowns, the Terraforming. That's just very standard if you're going to play that deck. If your budget's even higher, you can play the Dogmatica engine, Ecclesias, Fleur de Lises, Maximus if you want to play it, Nadir Servants, Punishments, Schism. I think it all just goes together, so it's just good to have. In addition to that, I think this is another really good engine. Obviously, if you're playing the Infernoble deck, you play it. It's the Neospatian, Dolphin, and the Triple Connector. Just a really great engine that goes into a Soul Day. Very, very good to have. I still think the Trickstar engine is really important. It doesn't look like much, but it's literally light stage to get Corbane, summon Corbane. It's pretty broken. This also locks a back row and sends it to the graveyard at the end. So this card's great. Like I think people just don't utilize it enough. If your deck can play it, the Double or Nothing package, Magical Musketeers, other decks like that, Sky Striker was doing this. Yeah, you died at this. 10,000. It's pretty crazy. So there's that. Then probably one of my favorite engines was the Neos package. Basically just the the two monsters you need. I played like 2 fusion. You can play 3 if you want, and then of course the Rainbow Neos to summon it. This card has an amazing effect. And last but not least, every player, no matter what, you need to prepare for this engine. You need to have your Dark Magician, your Red Eyes Black Dragon, and your copies of Red Eyes Fusion, because soon Dragoon will be here. The next deck profile you probably see will have Dragoon in it, and it's going to be crazy. But that is everything for today, you guys. I'm sorry the video was so long. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Please give this video a like. Please comment something. Comment anything down below, your personal thoughts. What do you guys think of this type of video? Did this help you? Did this give you information on cards that I feel every player should have? I guess the last thing I can say, if you want to be one of those players, you can keep banned cards. Banned cards are kind of cool. I just keep cards like Maxi. You know why I keep Maxi? Not only gets banned because it might come back one day, and I mean, were we ever really talking about banned cards without our baby? Hashtag Thunder Gang. People wonder why I don't have ultis. I've been asked that a lot of times. These are my original Thunder Dragons since day one. Anyone who knows me, I'm loyal to my day ones. So yeah, we're never getting ultis. These are my day ones. We'll get ultis as like maybe like for tokens or something, but this is literally for our nostalgic purpose for having these since day one, since the deck came out, and this is one of my favorite cards in the game. So yeah, but that's everything today, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, sorry the video is so long. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Comment anything down below. It helps the algorithm a lot. It helps me out. Let me know your thoughts. What are cards you feel every player should have access to? I'm sure I missed plenty of them. This is just stuff I had on me that I felt that would make for a really awesome video. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.